let's talk about this cooktop. Now this isn't just going to be a typical review style video of the Genesis Basecamp. No, I'm also going to look at other cooktops and other cooktop solutions that you might be considering, because first off, this is $400, so why the heck would we spend $400 on something when there's other options out there? I am also going to talk to you about the good and the bad from this product as well as the other products. And after we look at all the different solutions, at the end of the video, I'm going to let you know which cooktop is going to be my personal workhorse when I'm out making my travel and nature photography content that typically is on this channel. Which, if you are new to this channel, well, welcome. My name is Riley. I am a nature photographer and filmmaker, but from time to time, I do like to talk to you guys about products like this so you can make more informed decisions on your adventuring needs. So obviously the Jetboil comes in this really cool case, which makes it easy to pack around. It also comes with its own like sear pan with these rubber handles that fold along the side. So it makes a nice packed up solution. And because these are rubber, or I guess it's a rubber, it's almost like a plasti dip on there, it doesn't get hot even though it's small. So you don't have to worry about like burning your hand or anything like that on it. Inside the pack, it also has your regulator fuel source. There is a lid that is universal, so it fits on top of your saute pan. You have your burners that are housed inside of a big pot. It's a nice size pot. Then you have the lid too that covers over. The pot also has that nice plastic dip handle that makes it super easy to grab and doesn't burn your hands. Inside, you also get this plastic windscreen, which you can see that I still have plastic on it. I honestly haven't used it yet because I haven't really cooked out where it's super windy and I have to worry about the flame going out. Now this is your actual cooktop. There's these nice rubber tabs on here that hold the unit together and keep it from flying open. They're easy to grab, easy to pull off. From there, it's just as simple as opening it up. And here is your cooktop. I really like the footprint of this. It makes it super easy. I'm going to show you. You can fit both of their pot and pan or sear pan on here with no issues at all. And this is a really good size pan. I want to say that's a 10-inch pan. So you can fit quite a bit of food in there. Then on this side, you have your fuel input, or where you put your regulator. And the nice thing about this regulator is you don't actually have to use the Jetboil specific propane bottles. This uses the Coleman propane bottles just like any other one. So if you wanted to have a refuelable one that fits this input, it would also work. But the real cool thing about this is this side right here. I don't know if you guys can read that, but it says JetLink output. What that means is you can actually take this cooktop and expand another burner onto it. So you can take this cooktop and add another, I believe, full unit. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong, but they also have other spare burners, or even the little backpacking one can all be used on this. And then you can have 3 things going at once. Now that would probably eat up fuel quite a bit. This is a 10,000 BTU unit, which is still pretty powerful. I haven't had any issues with it being underpowered when using it. And it also is self-igniting. So just by a flick of a button. Now something cool with their pot, which obviously you're paying a pretty penny for, but see like these little rings here, it actually locks kind of on here so the pot won't slide off, which is really nice. If this was full of water or stew or something that you're cooking, you don't want it to accidentally go flying off, especially because it's on a small bit here. So I really do like that grip that this has, keeping your pot centered and from running the risk of flying off. So the unit does come with this plastic windscreen, and I want to show you guys how this actually goes on. If you look, there's these little tabs. It's kind of hard to see because it's clear, but there's a tab here. I'll get some B-roll to make it a little bit easier for you guys to see. These little tabs go in these little holes here. There's tiny little holes on all 4 sides, and all you do is you just slide these little tabs into the hole. It does take a little bit of force. And there you go. Now you have a windscreen. And I like too, right here, and again, I don't know if you guys can even see this with how clear it is. Your input's plugged in, it actually has a place to go through, so you're not cutting it off. So it's a little bit of a pain to get in there. I'd be worried about actually breaking the plastic over time, but I don't personally use it this much. If it gets windy, I don't really cook outside, I cook inside. But if there's a little bit of a breeze blowing your fuel out, which you're gonna want to make sure you are burning that propane rather than letting it just pour out everywhere, that's where this would come in handy. Now, I want to address something real quick for those of you who are in an adventure van like I'm in, or maybe if you are a RVer or whatnot. There's usually two types of cooktops that we're talking about. We're either talking about a propane cooktop or we're talking about induction cooktops. I have used both, and I want to give you guys some pros and cons to each of those. So what I have right here is actually the induction cooktop that we used in our first van build. And all in all, it worked pretty good. The thing is, these are power hungry. There is no way getting around that. Now, this is also, again, a personal thing. My main reason for being on the road is to produce the nature and photography content that you guys are usually seeing. I also am on the road creating marketing content for clients and all that. So my job is a photographer. So I need to keep my production equipment charged up at all times so that I'm ready when the moment is right. So that is why I built out such a beefy power system. At first, it was also to power the induction cooktop. It was also to allow for expanding to an air conditioning unit if I found I needed one. Mainly though, it was to keep all of my equipment charged. So one of the issues I ran into with using the induction is anytime I cooked a meal on it, it would use about 20% of my battery bank. So I have a Victron monitor here. I was able to monitor when I was using it, and always it would take about 20% of my battery bank. Again, not that big of an issue. I have Battleborn batteries. I can discharge these pretty much to zero and not have an issue, and I have plenty of ways of recharging. Now, why did I switch away from the induction cooktop then? Mainly it was because it was in a fixed position in the van. Originally, it was set right here in our cabinet, and that was the only place I could cook. I could only cook indoors. I wanted to be able to come outdoors and cook. Let me darken you guys down. This is the whole reason of coming out to the great outdoors, is to experience the outdoors. So if I have to do all of my cooking in my van, well, what's the point? So when we rebuilt this van, I started cooking on this. A lot of the original videos that you guys have seen in this new van 2.0 build has been on this GSI Outdoors Cooktop. Now, the nice thing is about this cooktop is it was like $100, something like that. Pretty nice. It's got two nice burners on it. I believe it's like 15,000 BTUs. I have notes. I should read my notes. Well, I think I left my notes at home, so I'm going to put it over the screen below, but I want to say it's about 15,000 BTUs, which is pretty powerful. I like it too because this one has its own ignition, so you're able to ignite it by itself. You don't need any external ignition tools. It does run off of a propane bottle, the small little green propane bottles, like so. And I have used this particular bottle to cook almost every meal you've seen on the channel so far, and I haven't run out of it yet. So it does a really good job. It takes upwards, I believe it takes a 9 to 12 inch pot. If you have the flaps open on the side, you're able to fit the pots a lot easier and the pans a lot easier. I was super, super happy with this cooktop. I didn't have any issues with it. It also has its own windscreen, which is great for when it was windy outdoors. Again, I didn't have any particular issue at all with it. I was able to cook outside with it, and didn't take up a lot of space in the van. Now, the only bummer is you do have to use like these little Coleman green tanks, which is another great segue. Is GSI Outdoors is the one I particularly bought. Now, Coleman and a bunch of other companies out there make their own small portable cooktops like this. You can do your research there and figure it out. Obviously, all I have to compare today is this GSI that I have. But back to the little green Coleman propane tanks, you can get these almost at any Walmart you go to. Now, it does suck that you pretty much have to throw these out or recycle them once you're done. I do believe they make like a little 5-gallon like refillable one that I want to get someday, but right now I'm just sticking to these little green guys. So now let's talk about some pros and cons with this GSI Outdoors compared to the induction cooktop. For me, the biggest pro is its footprint, the fact that I can cook anywhere, the fact that it doesn't tap into my power bank at all. Now, the bummer is to carry these little propane bottles around, which obviously carrying propane inside your vehicle can be a little nerve-wracking. That's why I keep the necessary monitors and CO2 and carbon monoxide detectors and stuff in the van just in case, and I keep these usually stored in the back. Haven't had any issues though. So, I mean, obviously I've been camping with these types of propane bottles for a long time, and I also like, because I'm using the propane system, I'm able to use cast iron cookware, where on the induction cooktop I couldn't use cast iron. I had to only use induction pots and pans. Another pro for using propane over the induction is, again, like GSI and all these other brands come up with their own little camping setups in terms of pots and pans where they all pack into each other, which means that if you're in a vehicle like I'm in, an adventure van where it's really small and you don't have a ton of space, you need to maximize your storage. And so induction cooktops, usually the induction cookware you're going to find is larger. They do make smaller stuff, but since these are specific for camping, you're gonna find a lot more solutions out there and a lot more affordable solutions out there. So let me answer the question of which one of these cooktops is going to be my main cooktop. And I have to go with the Jetboil. Now, that's probably not a shocker for you guys. I haven't had any complaints with it in terms of cooking. All of the meals I've done on it have been fantastic. I love the portability of it. It lights up quick. Every time I've cooked, I've been able to saute something, I've been able to sear something, I've been able to slow roast something, I've been able to boil water to put rice in, I've been able to boil water to do pre-made mashed potatoes, you name it. I've been able to do it with all of these cooktops. But because of the size, because I'm able to cook with cast iron, which means now I'm dedicating space inside of my van for something that I'm going to use in two different cooking methods, either over an open fire or on my burner, and they're easy to clean as long as you're taking care of them. That is a huge bonus for me. Now, if you guys want any other follow-up information, please drop a comment down below. I would love to create some follow-up content for you and help answer any questions you might have. If you did find this informative though, please make sure you hit that thumbs up button down below. That does help the channel reach new people. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, so you don't miss out on all of our adventures coming up. I do appreciate all of you guys. We are hitting another milestone here soon, and it's kind of crazy to believe. I attribute that to a lot of you guys who have been watching this, and I really appreciate that you care to tune in and listen to me ramble on about this kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead though and enjoy the great outdoors while I'm out here. I'll see you guys in the next adventure.